So we've got some more Liverpool transfer news. And no, it's not about Martin Zubimendi. And in fact, it's not even about a player that's likely to be at the club next season. But still, it's something for us to grab onto and to report. And of course, I am talking about the Valencia goalkeeper, Giorgi Mamardashvili. Now, it's my understanding that Liverpool are in talks, or certainly exploring a deal was how it was put to me. That will be worth around £30 million to sign Mamardashvili from Valencia this summer. Now, its expectation is that there's real hope on Liverpool's side that this one will get done. Valencia seem willing to sell around that price, although there may be a few million in it, and those are the sticking points at the moment in negotiations. But I think that both clubs are really in the similar ballpark, and it does seem an eagerness from the players' side as well to make the move. So real hope, as I say, that this one might get done. And you might be wondering, why is this move coming? I think the first place to start is the quality of the player. Liverpool definitely convinced by that, and that's a player he's still only 23 years old, but he's got fantastic experience behind him. He's already made almost 100 appearances in La Liga for Valencia, so he's got that real mix of being young, having the potential to grow, but already having that great experience and shown that he's a very, very talented keeper. And I think anyone who saw him at the Euros as well, representing his native Georgia, will see that he was a very, very good goalkeeper as well. I think had everything you need really as a modern goalkeeper. The stature, obviously, but also the shot stopping, the ability with his feet. Georgia were a very good and entertaining football side, I thought, as well. So I thought he was really interesting from that perspective. And Liverpool clearly agree with that assessment and very, very keen to get him in this summer. But again, it matters why this might be the case when obviously Liverpool have got issues in the squad, things that they need to address going forward. And you would have said that very, very low down the list would be signing a new goalkeeper, not least because they've got Alisson Becker in that position. Now, don't worry, Alisson isn't going anywhere. There's no plans to sanction a move for him in the final days of the window. But there are things you've got to prepare for in football. You've got to get ahead of, and I think Alisson is definitely one of them, and Liverpool certainly think that at least. I mean, he's 31 years of age now. He does pick up injuries from time to time, and you always worry as players advance in years whether that's going to become more frequent. And by the end of this season, he is expected, absolutely, he will be staying this season. We can guarantee that. I've said it in videos before, no plans for him to move. But by the end of this season, he'll have just 2 years remaining on his contract, so that's when things get a little bit precarious, isn't it? If there's other clubs interested in you, that's the time where a club has got to make a decision over handing out a new contract or selling at that point. So 2 years on his contract at the end of this season, and we know also that there's very strong interest from Saudi Arabia in Alisson Becker, and although that is not something he's been interested in doing ahead of this season, he's not been interested in making that move. It's something that could appeal maybe next season, maybe the season after that. And as I say, Liverpool are trying to get ahead of that problem by, when a good goalkeeper like this comes on the market, you have to pounce on that opportunity. And the idea from Liverpool's perspective is succession planning, really, to make sure that if Alisson does leave at the end of next season or this coming season, or even a season after that, that they've got someone lined up in Mamardashvili who they feel can be his successor, who they feel is good enough to step up into those shoes. Now, of course, the plan in that from that point of view, with Liverpool wanting to buy the player this summer but maybe not having a place for him in the squad in the coming season, is for a loan move. Valencia may be in the running for that. That's a possibility that he goes back to Valencia just on loan for another season, and then Liverpool see where they're up to with that and whether the space is opened up and Alisson's on the move or not. And so it could be a loan move. That I had seen suggestions that maybe Bournemouth would be a place that he could go. Obviously, Richard Hughes has ties there, having just left Bournemouth. But it's my understanding that wouldn't actually be possible. It was within the Premier League handbook that clubs aren't allowed to sign a player and then immediately loan him to a fellow Premier League team. So I'm not sure that that would actually be possible, that he could be loaned to Bournemouth straight away after joining Liverpool. So I think the likely possibility is a loan to another European league. And as I say, Valencia would be a really good option for him to do that, just to go back there and continue his development, as he's done so well in Valencia. He's obviously comfortable there and really stood out there. So I think there's a general agreement on all sides that would be a good move for the player. As I say, some hope that a deal will get done. It has been put to me from the Liverpool side of things that they are just exploring a deal and seeing whether it's possible, but they've definitely got the green light from the players' side to make that move. And Valencia, as I say, the difference in valuation can't be too far apart. I do think they're in the same ballpark there. So real hope that this deal will get done. And I know some people will be maybe kind of a little bit cynical about this one, particularly in light of the Martin Zubimendi deal collapsing and that being so disappointing. And there's absolutely no doubt, from my point of view, that there are areas of this Liverpool squad that need to be strengthened. My understanding is that's not going to be in defensive midfield. They're not going to look for a separate target in that position, despite failing in Zubimendi. But there are other areas of the squad they are looking to strengthen. And as I say, I do think that is really, really important that they do that. But I think, you can't judge this. You've got to judge this deal on its own merits. And I think as a piece of succession planning and getting ahead of a problem that Alisson is likely to provide you in the coming years, I think you've got to say that this is a very, very smart move on the surface of things if Liverpool can get it done, because you don't want to, as I say, end up in that situation, as I suppose Liverpool have in defensive midfield. They didn't succession plan for Fabinho. He kind of fell off a cliff quite unexpectedly, and they found themselves in a situation now where they're probably going to head into a third consecutive summer looking for a signing in that defensive midfield position. So I think you've got to look at this deal from that perspective and see that, it is on its own merits. It's a very, very smart move if Liverpool can get it over the line. Now, I think the one other thing I maybe want to talk about in terms of what this means for Liverpool and the squad in general is Caoimhin Kelleher. Obviously, his future's been the subject of quite a lot of speculation really coming into this summer, and I think this really does show that the likelihood that he is going to be the man who comes in and steps up to replace Alisson is looking very, very slim, to be honest. Obviously, no doubts about his quality as a player. He's been outstanding for Liverpool as that number 2 in recent years, and I think Jurgen Klopp said, didn't he, that he's the best number 2 in world football, and I think Arne Slot would have been very impressed by what he saw over the course of pre-season, because he's got that, I said about Mamardashvili, that combination of shot stopping and ability with feet. Well, Kelleher's definitely got that. But in terms of him becoming the Alisson successor, just looking unlikely on the basis that Kelleher remains quite keen to leave Liverpool this summer. I think his idea coming into this summer was to move on and play first team football elsewhere. And that is still the plan, even with these few days left in the window. If he can make that move, he would love to. But I think clearly it's if he's going to move on this summer and that's his idea, or he really wants to move on next summer, then he's already resolved in his mind not to be the Alisson successor, and that's why Liverpool are having to look elsewhere. And one thing I will say about Kelleher as well, in terms of that, the likelihood of his moving on, we haven't got very long left in the transfer window now, do we? So if he's going to make that move, then it has to start moving soon. And I think Liverpool aren't going to budge on the price tag. That is going to be between 20 and 25 million or in that region, considering what other goalkeepers have moved for. So we really do just have to wait and see whether anyone's going to meet that. And it's going to be an interesting few days in terms of that one, because there has been so much talk that he would be ready to move. But for now, we haven't had any strong interest, any strong approaches, and Liverpool haven't received any bids as I'm speaking now. So Kelleher, as things stand, is going to be Liverpool's second choice next season, and we'll see where we go from there in terms of what that means for his future, in terms of with Mamardashvili, if he comes in, where Alisson stands up to. It's all up in the air, but Liverpool is very much making sure that they are strong in that goalkeeping department going forward with this move, and we'll see if it gets completed. Now, let me know in the comments what you think about this one. Were you impressed by Mamardashvili at the Euros? Have you watched him at Valencia? Do you think he'd be a good signing? And do you think that this is a smart move on its own merits, not necessarily connected to Liverpool's need to strengthen right now? As I say, let me know in the comments. And if you can like and subscribe as well, always massively helpful. If you don't subscribe, it's a great channel to stay in touch with what's going on at Liverpool over this transfer period, and what we expect is going to be a busy few days. So do hit that subscribe button, and hopefully more news to come in the coming days, and I will see you guys very soon.